When President George W. Bush visited Waterbury, Connecticut, in April of 2001, Waterbury's mayor, a fellow Republican, was conspicuously absent from the day's events. As it turned out, Bush's advance team didn't want Mayor Phil Giordano anywhere near the new president. They were warned that Giordano was corrupt, a bad guy. That's putting it mildly. The story that came to light about Mayor Phil Giordano, not long after W's stop in Waterbury, is truly horrific. Welcome to Wicked Connecticut. Phil Giordano's backstory set him up well for a political run. Born in Caracas, Venezuela, to Italian parents in 1963, Giordano and his family moved to the U.S. when the boy was 2. For a while at least, Giordano appeared to be living the American dream. Raised in the gritty working-class city of Waterbury, Giordano would go on to serve in the Marine Corps and become a lawyer. From there, the tall, handsome go-getter entered the political arena, winning a seat in Connecticut's state legislature. Giordano then set his sights on becoming mayor of Waterbury, Connecticut's 5th largest city. He accomplished that as well. And while Giordano would twice be re-elected mayor, questions of adulterous behavior and other shady episodes dogged him during his time in office. Giordano had to deny a persistent rumor that he fathered an illegitimate child, and he also had to explain a 911 hang-up call from his home to Waterbury police late one night. Then, there was the time Giordano and a 25-year-old female city staffer were caught together in a car in the empty lot of an industrial plant in a nearby town. Despite these and other potentially career-ending incidents, Giordano kept winning his mayoral races. Celebrating his first re-election in 1997, Giordano thanked his wife and quote-unquote best friend, Dawn, then took a shot at Waterbury Democrats, saying, "I hope they learned a lesson tonight. Negative campaigning doesn't work." Not yet 40, Giordano was a rising star in Connecticut Republican politics, so much so that in the year 2000, he claimed the state GOP nomination to run for the U.S. Senate. Giordano's opponent was incumbent Democrat Joe Lieberman, a well-connected Connecticut politico. As expected, Lieberman easily won re-election, but the fact that Giordano shared headlines with Lieberman, presidential candidate Al Gore's running mate in that same election cycle, goes to show how far up the ladder of politics the young Republican from Waterbury had climbed, and how far he would soon fall. On July 26, 2001, Phil Giordano, mayor, lawyer, Marine, married father of 3, was arrested and later convicted of 14 counts of using an interstate device, his cell phone, to arrange sexual contact with children. While investigating municipal corruption in Waterbury, the FBI discovered phone records and pictures of Giordano with a prostitute, as well as with the sex worker's 8-year-old daughter and 10-year-old niece. It was determined that Giordano had assaulted the young girls hundreds of times over a 2-year period, and that the abuse took place in the mayor's home and office, even in a city police cruiser. The FBI had been focused on allegations that Giordano was taking bribes in return for awarding city contracts when agents overheard a conversation implicating the mayor in the assault of the 2 girls. Federal agents testified that they suspended their municipal corruption probe before it was complete in order to promptly arrest Giordano and spare the girls from additional assaults. Giordano is currently serving a 37-year sentence in a Mississippi prison. The prostitute who provided Giordano with his young victims, Gitana Jones, served 10 years. In 2023, 2 decades after this terrible story made national news, Giordano's victims sat down for an interview with a Connecticut TV station. LaToya Mullen, age 32, said, telling her story as part of the healing process. Mullen said, "There's got to be a moment in my life that I want normalcy. I want to be able to say, you know what? Yes, this happened, but I'm no longer going to be a prisoner in his life. I'm not a victim anymore, I'm not." Mullen's 30-year-old cousin, Tatiana Jones, told the reporter, "There are monsters out there. I just don't want nothing like this to happen to another child." In the interview with the women, it was revealed that Giordano had never admitted to the molestation or apologized for his actions. How could a man so powerful, that was supposed to protect my city, and everybody in it, Know that he did something so evil like that. And don't even admit that you're wrong? I would have respected him more if he said he was guilty, Tatiana Jones said. I want him to tell me to my face that you didn't do anything to me. I know for a fact you can't do it. Mayor Phil Giordano. This guy took the term crooked politician to a sinister level. I'm happy to report that, at the time of this recording, Giordano has at least another decade remaining behind bars. The former mayor is eager to walk free, of course. Recently, he requested compassionate release, citing in part the threat to his health from the COVID-19 pandemic. Giordano, who claims to suffer from chronic spinal pain, argued his health issues, combined with his cooperation in that federal corruption probe, his volunteer work in prison, and the harshness of his sentence, should lead to a new sentence of time served. U.S. District Judge Stephen Underhill disagreed, noting that the disgraced politician never accepted full responsibility for the conduct which landed him behind bars. Underhill also took issue with Giordano's portrayal of his charity work in prison. The judge noted that the former lawyer had been disciplined for taking money from prisoners in exchange for legal work. Very on brand, Mr. Mayor. I would like to give a shout-out to the many journalists whose work I poured over in order to piece together this narrative. Much obliged. Thanks for listening to Wicked Connecticut. Feel free to email me. The address is in the show notes. Until next time, I'm your host, John Haynes.